Hey guys, this is Andy Bacon with the Bacon Group, and I was going to do a video on how to purchase rental properties with little to no money. Been very, very successful for the investors that quite frankly, that understand it, that kind of get it. It's numbers. It's a numbers way to look at business, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm actually going to give it a shot on a real deal. This is a property that's available right now, and so I thought, well, heck, let's kill two birds with one stone, and we'll actually use it with a live deal that's available. Okay, so this is a real example, and it looks like this. The property that's for sale right this moment is 1342 North Graham Avenue, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46219. The purchase price is $101. That's to you. The fix-up cost is $1,000. What's involved in that fix-up cost literally is fixing a gutter, and the water heater has probably got, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years left in it, so we kind of boosted it up. That's really the only thing wrong with this property. It's a turnkey type of a property. Okay. The comps show that the property is worth about $138,000. Taxes are $19.96, I believe, and right now there's a renter in there at $9.50 per month. If you ever wanted to do a rent to own or sell it on an installment land contract, those types of things, obviously those rents can go up. So let's see what this looks like. So here's a traditional rental financing. You buy a property for $101,000. There's a fix-up of $1,000. That's kind of a, we're too worried about it at the moment. ARV is $138, and the rents are $950. So here's what the bank would be looking for. They're looking for your FICO score, W-2 income, or a 2-year tax return. Although there's a few what we call liar loans out there. If you can fog up a mirror, you might be able to get a loan still. Interest rates are still depending on what you're and who you are. Your FICO scores, things like that, is still 4.5%, 5.5%, somewhere in there, on a 30-year note. And the bank's loan on investment properties, 75 to 80% of the purchase price. Okay, that's 75 to 80% of the purchase price. So that means that you're going to require a 20 to 25% down payment on an investment property. Okay, so here's what it looks like. This particular deal looks like on a traditional rental at 75% loan to value, or loan to purchase, if you will. So the purchase price is $101, which means the bank will owe you $75,750. So they're going to require a $25,250 down payment. The fix-up cost is still $1,000, and the monthly rents at the moment are $950 because that's what it's currently rented for. So here is the loan at $75,750 at 5.5%, 30 years. You'd have a principal interest at $430. Taxes are roughly $2,000. Insurance is $1,000. That's a little heavy for a rental property. My guess is your insurance more like $700, $750. Maybe 8 tops. So we've been a little heavy-handed there, just so we can look at the numbers a little easier. So that would be your new loan, $680,000, probably max. So now we say, okay, so we take the monthly rents. It's $950 a month. That's $11.4 gross. You've got $26,250 out of your pocket. So that's $25 plus $1,000 out of your pocket. Monthly mortgage payment is $680. So what we're saying here is, with your cash out of pocket, your real fast look at this is a cash-on-cash rate of return of about 12.3%. All right, that's what that looks like. That's a traditional way of looking at business. Now let's see some other alternatives. I think. Okay, that was 75%. Some banks are doing 80%. You just have to shop around. This is what it looks like at 80%. They're going to loan you a bit more, so the payment goes up a bit more. Everything stays the same over here, except you have less cash out of pocket. It's $20,200 for your down payment, and $1,000 still you need to fix the gutter and the water heater sometime in the future. So that's a 13.65 rate of return, cash on cash. Okay, and understand if you buy a property like this, you're getting quite a bit of equity because you're already getting $37,000 in equity on this property. All right, it's a decent area. It's a nice brick home, to a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car garage. We'll get into that later. But, okay, so that's how you look at this. Okay, now here's a non-traditional approach to buying these rentals. And this is what a lot of us do. We've been doing this for quite a while. And it's worked out very well. Okay, so let's say you borrow all the cash and buy the property for $101,000. Okay, so let's say you borrow all the cash rather than go getting a loan to buy it. You borrow all the cash first. Hard money lender, your own 401k, and family, friends, another investor, whatever you're going to do, you just borrow all the cash. Okay, then you fix up the property for $1,000. You put your renters in there. This one happens to come with one at $950. You refinance the property based on the current as-is value. So in other words, you borrow the cash, put a lien against, the lender will put a lien against the property, at which point you're allowed to refinance the property based on the current as-is value. So when you do a refi, it's not based on a purchase, it's based on the value. So they do an appraisal, okay? And that's a huge deal. So two things have to happen. First of all, you have to have a lien on the property because the banks will only do refinances when there's a lien in place, all right? They won't do a refinance within the first 12 months if it's a cash purchase. So if you buy it all cash, that doesn't really help you in this scenario. And I'll show you, even if you had the cash, sometimes it's worth maybe even creating an LLC, put cash into it, and loan the money back to yourself so there's a lien in place from an LLC or from a company. I'm not going to go down that path at the moment, but we do a lot of things like this. The banks are looking for liens, at which point they can do their program, which is refinance. Okay, that's what they're looking for, is a lien that some lender put on the property on a loan. Okay, so before you say there are no banks out there that will do this, there are. Just ask around, go to your investment clubs, or just start dialing for dollars, start calling banks and say, listen, I've got a property I'm thinking about buying. If I owned it only for 2 months and there was a lien against the property on a loan because I borrowed it, can you refinance me out? And how fast can you do that? Okay, because we have banks that are refinancing us out in 30 to 60 days. Alrighty? So just look around. Trust me, they're out there. Okay, so here's what the non-traditional approach might look like. So the purchase price is $101. The repair cost is still $1,000. You know, obviously, these numbers are usually maybe $110,000 in repairs. This one just happens to be in pretty good shape, so we got lucky. All right. So you need $102,000 to do this deal. Okay, and let's take for a moment, instead of the $138 on the after repaired value, the appraisal, let's say it's only worth $120, just so we're very, very conservative, and you'll see what happens to the numbers. So you go find a loan product. We're talking about borrowing the money to purchase now, the original purchase. So you find a lender that will loan you 90% of the purchase, 90% of the repairs, up to 75% of the after repaired value at 2 points and 10%. This is a pretty common loan package for a short-term loan, all right? And that's why we're using these numbers. Okay, so it would look like this. So the hard money is based on $120,000 after repaired value. The purchase price is $101, so they'll loan you $90,900. Fix-up cost is $1,000, so this is kind of ridiculous, but I put the $900 in there so at least we could follow the numbers and not get confused for anybody out there who gets confused. Okay, so to do this deal, you need $102,000. Okay, so let's say you borrowed that money, and understand you can refinance in 2 to 3 months. And I'll show you where the cost of the hard money came in just a moment. My guess is that cost of that hard money is going to cost you $3,000. All right. So now you need $105 for the total deal. Okay, now you're going to do the refinance. Let's say the cost of that refi is $1,500. We're refinancing with a traditional bank now. One that has seasoning requirements that fall within the parameters of what we're trying to do. So now you have a total of $106,500 that's into this deal. Okay, so the total cost is $106,500. All right, so we've just tacked on $5,500 from the original sale price. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So the total cost was $106,000. The appraisal came in. It's really worth $138 in our opinion. The appraisal, let's say, came in at $120. You've got a lender now who's going to give you the refinance at 75% of the value. So 75% of 120, where the appraisal now came in, is $90,000. All right. So your total debt is $16,500. I'm sorry, ARV minus the total debt. So we've got, here's the new loan. $90,000 goes here. There's your 5.5%. And quite frankly, depending on who you are, this could go down even further. Everybody's a little bit different on where this is, but this is kind of a high average right now. Okay. So on this deal, your payment would be $761. You've got $16,500 cash out of your pocket now. Okay. Instead of what we had previously, which was what, $25,000, somewhere in there. So this is $9,000 to $10,000 cheaper than doing it the other direction. Okay, and of your 16.5, your cash on cash return is about 13, almost 14%. There's the cost of the loan. So we said a second ago they were going to give you 90,000. Looks like it's going to be what, 91,800 that you would borrow. 91,800, 2 points, 10% for 6 months. That's $6,400. And I said, listen, it's not going to take you 6 months to refi. I said it would take you probably 2 to 3. So that's where that $3,000 came from in that last equation on the cost of the money, of the actual hard money loan. Okay. So let's see what this looks like at 80%. All right. Because there's loan products that go from 75 to 80% for investor purchases or refis. So now at 80%, they'll loan you 96,000, which means you only need 10,500 cash to do this deal. There's your loan at 96. You come over here, it's 10,000. So your return on the investment of your 10,500 is almost 18% now. Okay. Now understand, when you play these numbers, your monthly cash flow is going to go down. Okay. So that's probably 150. In real life, it's probably more like $200 on this because our numbers are a little fat, to be honest. We're being conservative to show you. And so that's about what that looks like. But still, for $10,500, you're making almost 18%, and you've got a property with $38,000 in equity in the property. That's a pretty good deal, and it's a nice house in a nice area, which you'll see in a moment. Okay. So let's say that the ARV actually comes in at 138. Remember, we're being conservative. We dropped it down to 120 because it's not an exact science. We don't know where that appraisal is going to come in. All we can do is look at our comps and go, okay, this is where we think the appraisal is coming in at. Our comps show us that the property is worth 138, and we have pretty good solid comps. We used 120 conservatively on the last two. Let's just say it came in at the full 138. On a 75% loan for the new refi, that's 103,500 loan. 103, you come on down, there's your monthly payment. You come over here, your out-of-pocket expense now is $3,000. Okay, that's a 45% return on ROI, the cash on cash return. Again, at the moment, you're only renting it for $950, so you're making, like I said, this is probably conservative. You're probably making $125 to $150 a month. But the house cost you $3,000. Okay, so it costs you $3,000 to make $150 a month and get $38,000 in equity. Okay, it's not a bad way to get started here. Okay, let's take it one step further because this is what we've done a lot of, to be honest. Okay, it just depends on the numbers and what kind of deal these numbers are at. Okay, so let's say it's an 80% refi. Okay, and the ARV did come in at 138. Your new loan is 110 because the bank would give you 110. Okay, there's the 110,000. There's where your payment would be. You come down there and you look at the return. It broke the calculator because, quite frankly, they're going to give you $3,900 back in cash. So here's a property where you got paid to do the refi. All right, these things are actually still going on. I know that there's a few myths out there from folks that don't know these angles or don't know how to talk to banks and don't go down the path to do this stuff. But there's a lot of things that you can still do that basically allow you to purchase rental properties with little to no money, and it's a great gig. So here's the house that we're talking about. Like I said, this is actually a live one, so it was kind of nice, good timing for us to do this video and just do it on a live house. Okay, so there's the property. There's the mechanicals. It's got central AC. It's a fairly new furnace. There's the kitchen. It's a pretty clean house. If you want more, obviously contact us, and we'll give you some other pictures. We've got about, I think, 56 pictures of this property, and so that's how to purchase properties with little to no money. It becomes a numbers game and understanding the banks. Okay, just a side note. There's a lot of deals that come across our plate and other people's plates that, for a brand new investor, there's a lot of things that you can do with your brain. In other words, you can find a deal that works out pretty well And let's say you don't have this kind of money, you go partner with somebody who does, and you're the brains of the operation. You put the deal together, you use their $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 and the credit score, because somebody's got to get a new loan, and you become partners. We have done this a lot. It's a very good, profitable way for both parties. And then you create an LLC or however you want to do it, and you do monthly splits on the rent cash flow, or you do it a split on the sale when you sell the property in 5 to 10 years. There's a lot of angles here. Anyway, I hope this video helps a few of you to think a little differently than just getting a loan based on a purchase price, which we don't do anymore. Haven't done it in a while. But I hope this helped, and also, this is a real deal, so if you want any further information, send us an email or give us a call, all right? Thanks. Other than that, have a great day, guys.